True love is anti-selfishness. Love does not insist on its own way. Love for self is good to a large degree and measure, but love of self, focused on self, when that love hurts others, is no true love at all. Hey, y'all. Welcome to Words for the Week and our YouTube channel for Valiant Community Church. My name is Rudy Rivera, and I'm a pastor with Valiant. We're trying to help people walk with Jesus. And the Bible's clear. The Apostle Paul wrote to this church at one point and encouraged them to encourage the timid, to help the weak, to admonish the unruly, those of us that need some training or some discipline, and also to be patient with everyone. And I know that last section there, that last little phrase, really challenges me quite a bit. But today, we're here to help the weak. And we're talking about love again. The focus of this video is to help us combat selfishness and point us to godly living, which takes into account the other people around us. I think in these difficult days, I've heard so many people say out loud that things that we often are thinking already, right? Things that we think internally sometimes are coming out of our mouths at this point. And something like this: I just need to protect myself. I just need to look out for myself, or just look out for my family. And these words are kind of being said, it seems like, all around me, and they're coming up in my own life as well, where we think, okay, self-protection, and then maybe, potentially, possibly other people. And while protecting oneself or one's family is not necessarily a bad thing, right? That's a good thing. That desire can also, at times, lead us towards anti-love, because love is not self-seeking. So how do we live for God in such a way that we love everyone and we walk in love, which causes us to not insist on our own way, because love does not insist on its own way? Okay, there are tons and tons of examples of how this can play out. I mean, it's kind of countless, to be honest. But one example regarding this pandemic, and here we're in northern Colorado, and so the mask mandate's kind of been lifted, and some, it's probably wishy-washy. Who knows what's going to happen, right? But you've probably experienced these kinds of thoughts or these kinds of feelings where people around you are asking the question: do we mask or do we not mask? Things about vaccinations and vaccines, and how many times have you been tempted over the past 18 months? Have you ever said this or thought this, where you've said something like, kind of just screw them. Like, I want everybody to do what I want. Seeking our own needs, right? Like, let's protect ourselves most of all, and then maybe we'll worry about other people. And oftentimes we're so busy, we probably don't get to the other people. Or, making money. How we spend our money, how we save our money, or how we give away our money, says a lot about how we love or how we don't love. So something I think that could help us as we try to follow God is to ask the question, what are we doing with our money, with our resources, with our time? Is there any amount of those things that goes to other people, or that doesn't get consumed with self-consumption, or just insisting on our own way? So we want to look at the scriptures, the Bible again, 1 Corinthians 13:5, which says love is not self-seeking. And put that another way, you could say love does not insist on its own way. Love is willing to lay down preferences, to lay down opinions, to lay down even our own needs for the sake of the community, or the sake of the people around us, for the sake of others. And one way I like to say it is, love is a team player. Love is anti-selfish. I mean, it's completely against selfishness. I saw this recently with a group dynamic that happened in our family, and there's some people in our family that tend to have a hard time making decisions, and other people in our family, probably myself included, that just want to just make a decision in a group setting for the sake of just making decisions and getting on. But you might experience something like this where you get some friends or family where maybe you're trying to decide where to go out for dinner, and there's all these options. And so you ask the question, maybe somebody asks the question, hey, where should we eat tonight? It's probably going to happen in my family tonight. We're going to try to figure out dinner. And we'll ask the question, where should I eat tonight? And everybody or people might say, it doesn't matter, or I don't care, or I don't have a preference. And in a group, if enough people say those words, it can be on the side of love, right, where it's not self-seeking. However, it could also be difficult to make a decision. So somebody has to make a decision, and maybe sometimes someone often does, and that kind of gets the ball rolling towards a decision that the group can really own. I hope this is making sense. Okay, so here's the thought that crossed my mind. How do you operate in love in those kind of circumstances, right? Because it can be unloving or it can be loving to lead. And I think one of the ways we do that is we don't just think of ourselves. Okay, so for example, I might always want to choose pizza, and maybe my daughter might want to choose pasta. And so is there a way, if I'm going to make that decision, is there a way for me to make a decision that'll benefit the group, and everybody can, or at least chime in on and say, yeah, I'm game for that. However, it's not just my own will that's being achieved. Right, so I can give my will away, or my opinion, or my preference to the group. Especially like if someone in your family or your group has a food allergy or has a need, they really hate pizza and you love pizza, and so maybe for that moment you give up your love of pizza for the sake of the group. Because love is anti-selfish, because love does not insist on its own way. You don't dig in your heels and say, I'm not going to go if we don't eat pizza. Follow? Maybe that's a dumb example, but I think it's pretty common. And I think it's something that comes up all the time. And that's kind of a normal example. And we could take that example to all sorts of things. Again, mask or unmask, or vaccine, unvaccine, or lots and lots and lots of other examples in our world. Okay, I tend to think the Apostle Paul would say, if we insist on our own way in decisions or opinions or preferences, if we just dig in our heels with other people, our neighbors, our family, our friends, and we just say, it's my way or the highway, he would say, that is not love, because love is not self-seeking. Take this verse, Philippians 2, 3-4. Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interests of others. In other words, do everything in love, humbly counting others more significant than yourself. Let each of us look not only to our own interests, that's okay, we can do that, but also to the interests of others. See that that difference there, that fine difference? You can look out for yourself, but look out also for the interests of others. Love is the powerful enabler of walking the line between self-concern and concern for others. Love empowers us actually to do both. God is love, and he cares about people, and that includes you, and that includes others. So, if you find yourself weak in this area of tending towards selfishness, tending towards maybe being insisting or kind of demanding in what you get or what you want, consider the way of love. Remind yourself, love is not self-seeking. And ask yourself this simple question: am I being selfish in this area? And be honest with yourself. Be honest with others, and be honest with God if you are. Then turn to God and ask him to help you. You can turn to God every time, every day, at any moment. You can simply turn back to God and away from selfish ambition and pride, and you can walk in the way of love. And you can say, God, I need your help. I am a weak person in this moment or this season or this time or in these circumstances. So God, I need your help. I want to turn away from those ways of walking where I don't want to follow you. I want to be selfish. Instead, I want to turn to you, Jesus, and receive you and your power and your help and your strength. I give myself back to you, God. Help me walk in the way of love, because love does not insist on its own way. So let's walk in love this week. See you in the next video, and blessings to all.